Welcome to Influence, the show about one of the university's founding colleges, the College of Agriculture and Life Sciences. I'm your host, Emily Shaw. On today's episode, we'll be discussing poultry science, and our department is one of 6 in the nation. Our first guest is Jessica Wells, an instructor in the Department of Poultry Science. Welcome, Jessica.
Thanks for having me, Emily.
We're glad to have you here, and we'd like you to tell us a little bit about the poultry science major.
Sure. So we do offer a major in poultry science here at Mississippi State. Like you said, we're one of 6 in the nation. Our department is pretty small, family-oriented. Currently, we have 72 students enrolled in our department, which is a huge jump from our past years. We're up 30% this year. And we do serve one of the largest ag commodities in the state of Mississippi.
That's excellent. Is there any specialization to your major, like concentrations?
Yes. So in our major, we offer 2 concentrations. One of those is an ag production concentration, which is basically geared for those students that would like to obtain a 4-year degree and then start a job in industry. Our other concentration is a science-based concentration, so that would be geared for more of those students that would like to pursue graduate school or possibly go on to pre-veterinary medicine. So we do have a track for pre-vet students.
Okay, so elaborating on that, what are some of the reasons students choose your major?
Sure. So like I said, we serve one of the largest ag commodities in the state of Mississippi, as well as nationwide. Poultry is huge. It feeds the world, basically. And those students with that, since we do serve such a large industry, we offer 100% job placement upon graduation, lots of scholarship opportunities. So those students usually have opportunities to help pay for college. We have academic common markets for out-of-state students as well, which is something that can serve as for their out-of-state tuition. That 100% job placement is really important because once you obtain a 4-year degree, it's really nice to be able to say that you have a job lined up. And a lot of our students, majority of our students, usually have their job secured 6 months to a year in advance before graduation. Some of those students, or all of those students, have to complete internships through our department. 2 internships are required before graduation. So many of them obtain those jobs through those internships and end up working with the companies that they interned with. Salaries usually start around $40,000 to $45,000 upon graduation, and they increase rapidly. So,
can you give us an example of some of the jobs that a poultry science graduate would pursue?
Sure. So I usually tell students when they ask me that, anything under the sun, whatever you can dream up, you can do in the industry. Most of our students, when they do graduate, go into a trainee program, which basically shows you every aspect of the industry, and then they can kind of decide what portion they like and start to steer towards a permanent job in that field. But starting out, service technicians, so you need technicians in the fields that go into those farmers' houses and help them with questions they have. They're basically a liaison between industry and that farmer. Some of our students end up owning chicken houses and growing. That's pretty much a small scale number of our students. The business side, sales, you have allied industry, lab, you have production side, which is the live side with working hands-on in the field with those birds. And then you also have the processing side. So a lot of our students will obtain jobs in management, supervisor roles within plants. And then, of course, you can go all the way internationally. So international sales, accounting type business aspects, recruitment. So some of our students will actually recruit for companies, and they're bringing in personnel and new students that have just graduated. They'll go into the universities and speak about their companies. So there's endless opportunities within the industry and allied industries as well.
So you mentioned internships, and I know the department prides itself on hands-on learning. Tell us a little bit about how that matches up with the industry and commercialization.
Sure. So we do pride ourselves on being very applied with our major. So we don't want our students to graduate with just book knowledge. We want them to be able to go into the field and hit the ground running, basically. Our most of our classes have labs, and in those labs they're going to do very hands-on learning. One of the new things that we have in our department is we have a mini broiler barn. It is a small-scale broiler house, fully equipped with all the equipment you would see in industry settings. And when you take broiler production, which is a required course in the department, they actually have to grow their own birds. So that gives them a feel for industry and hands-on activities, which is really good, so that they can get in the industry and start working immediately.
That sounds great. When we come back, we'll meet with a graduate student in the department and hear about her research.
If you want to have a big impact in the world, you have to start small. At Mississippi State University, we're starting in the Gulf of Mexico, where a small but crucial barrier island is quickly fading from view. Millions of state dollars are spent dredging sand to replace the vanishing shores of Deer Island, but we think we can do better. We're applying cutting-edge sediment tracers to map the flow of currents and predict the course of sand that's carried out to sea, a process that will help us better understand the drastic transformation taking place. While this is a more cost-effective way to prevent the loss of an island, it's about so much more than saving dollars. It's about taking the first step in a long process to preserve our environment and secure a better, brighter tomorrow. We might be starting small, but rest assured, at Mississippi State University, we're dreaming big. It's hard to fathom. By the year 2050, Earth will be home to 3 billion more people than today. And with rising populations and dwindling resources, one of the most pressing questions is a stark one. How will we feed everyone? At Mississippi State University, we're preparing a meal table where there's a seat for all of us. As one of the nation's leading research universities, our scientists are deploying technology to enhance crop production, developing vaccines to protect aquaculture, working to boost water resources here at home and in communities around the globe. And by partnering with the League of International Universities and the United Nations, we're guaranteeing that global food security is a priority for years to come. As our world grows, so do the challenges. But when it comes to how we will feed everyone, rest assured, Mississippi State has all options on the table.
Welcome back. Our next guest is a graduate assistant and PhD student in the Department of Poultry Science, Tomi Obi. Welcome, Tomi.
Thank you.
Tell us how you got to MSU and a little bit about yourself.
Okay, I'm a graduate student at the Poultry Science Department. I'm part of an exchange program between the Poultry Science Department and my university in Nigeria. I'm originally from Nigeria, by the way. And in Nigeria, I did animal production, which is like a bit of everything. But coming to Mississippi State University, Poultry Science Department gave me the opportunity to kind of streamline myself and concentrate on poultry, which is really cool. And you know, getting to meet my professors here, the things that it taught us. During my undergrad, I was able to go on field trips to poultry processing plants, which kind of give me an exposure to what I want to do when I graduate. And after graduation, I went to work with the poultry industry for a little bit, and then I decided to come back for my master's in Poultry Science Department.
So what specifically about poultry science really interests you and gets you excited?
Everything about poultry science is interesting. The fact that you can easily get jobs when you finish, even for me as an international, it's really cool. And the difference between the way the university in my country is set up and the way it is set up here, it's something that wants me to want to learn more. And when I went to the industry, there are different opportunities to learn and advance. And when I was there, I was like, oh, this is really cool, but I just want to learn more. So I came back to poultry science for my master's, and I did some really good research.
And so after coming back from the industry and completing your master's degree, what inspired you to continue with a PhD? The research that I do during my master's program, it's something that has to do with foodborne illnesses. And according to the Centers for Disease Prevention and Control,
1 in 6 Americans get sickened by foodborne illness every year. And I was like, the kind of research that I am doing will kind of help to reduce that number. So that's one of the reasons I came back.
That's very exciting. So your research during your master's degree, did that move forward into your PhD research, or is it different?
Yes. So my research is concentrated on post-harvest food safety, which deals with foodborne diseases, foodborne illnesses, foodborne pathogens such as Salmonella, Campylobacter, Listeria. And I was able to do some of that during my master's. And for my PhD, I'm continuing in that line.
Okay, great. And as a graduate assistant, what kind of work do you do in the department?
Research.
What kind of research?
So my research is based on Salmonella, and also stress adaptation. We know the incidence of antibiotic resistance is a big thing in America, in fact, all over the world, and it's kind of like a global public health thing. So the kind of research that I do is trying to reduce this antibiotic resistance in foodborne pathogens.
That is exciting. So we have some pictures of you working in the lab, and if you'll tell us a little bit of what you do with your research inside the laboratory setting.
Okay, so right here I was trying to culture Salmonella in the lab. My research is trying to see if Salmonella can adapt to an antimicrobial that we often use in the industry. The antimicrobial is supposed to kill Salmonella. So we want to see if, in case of misuse or improper storage or anything, if that happens, will Salmonella be able to adapt to the stress posed by this antimicrobial? And that was what I was doing there. And for my findings, Salmonella did adapt to that antimicrobial, and we also tested the pathogen against some of antibiotics, and we did see some adaptation occurring.
Okay, excellent. So you're gearing up to teach this fall as a graduate assistant. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
At first I feel like I'm nervous to do it, but at the same time I think it's also an opportunity that the poultry science department has given me, not just to teach, but also to learn at the same time. So I think it's a great opportunity for me, and I'm looking forward to it.
I feel like you're going to be a great asset to the students this fall.
So.
So what class would that be that you're teaching?
It's poultry processing.
Okay, well that will be great. Thank you for joining us on this episode of Influence, where we learn more about poultry science, and please join us next time on Influence.